Raise your hand for question to start. Back row here on the left with Gary.
Coach Gary Harris, WVUA 23. Staff-wise, I know it's early, you're just getting here, your feet on the ground, but you anticipate bringing anybody from Buffalo, and how will you go about putting together your staff?
So I met with all three of the assistants this morning for a brief time. I got to meet with them a little bit more. Shoot, I like them all a lot. I think they're all great guys. The administration spoke really highly of them. I'm definitely going to bring at least a couple guys with me from Buffalo, just continue to build what we've built there, some familiarity, some loyalty. So it's all going to shake out. I would anticipate me keeping at least one, if not more, of the current assistants. It's going to be hard. I explained to them stuff's not easy. Wish I had a lot of spots. I'm figuring all that out. Shoot, yesterday at this time I was still trying to figure out my contract. So we're less than 24 hours in, but we're figuring it out. And hopefully within the next couple of weeks we've got the pretty good staff here figured out. But yeah, shoot, a lot of people hit me up. They want to be a part of the staff here. I know that there's a lot of good candidates out there. That I've talked to a handful of them already, but my phone's been ringing off the hook.
Let's go on the left here to Jeff Spiegel. Come with you, Jeff.
Hey, welcome to Tuscaloosa. You mentioned you had spoken with Kyra. Kyra, John Petty, Daniel Giddens, and Dazon Ingram have all been in the transfer portal. What kind of feedback have you gotten from them in terms of their future with the program?
Yeah, you know what? I want to have individual meetings with the entire team. We started with a couple this morning, just looking at class schedules when certain guys can get together. I'm going to meet with the entire team. Kyra's definitely open to, and I think, I don't want to put words in his mouth, so I don't want to say which way he's leaning toward whatever. And obviously this is a new culture with the way the transfer portal is. I mean, before you had to request and wait so long, and so it's all different now. Coaches are getting jobs now. There's a kid wants to put his name in the transfer portal, he can put it in. Now that doesn't mean he's got to go. He can obviously come back, and we're going to work hard to recruit the kids that we want back. Now, some of them we may not want all of them back. We've got to sit down and evaluate everything. That was part of me talking to the assistants who was, we need a culture here that wants to work and work hard, get great attitudes, and Kyra's definitely one of those ones that we definitely want back, and we're going to work as hard as we can to keep him here. And his talent's great. He's an Alabama kid that can, I think, really help get us into the part of the SEC we want to get to, and we're going to work hard to keep him. But I don't want to put words in his mouth saying which way he's leaning, because give me that. I want to build a relationship with them, and that's kind of what we agreed on after I met with him this morning. He was great. He was cordial. He's polite. I really liked the kid from the initial meeting I got, and he's going to get in workouts with us next week. We're going to work out, build a relationship. He's going to give me a fair shake to coach him, and we're going to take it from there.
Go all the way in the back on the far right.
Rashad Snell with Alabama News Network in Montgomery. Coach, your athletic director at Buffalo just recently tweeted out a picture of you signing a contract extension with these guys. So what was it about Alabama, from what you built at Buffalo that drew you to Tuscaloosa?
Yeah, we did sign an extension a couple weeks ago, and we talked about that. I told them right up front. I even told the media up there I was never going to lie to anybody. It'd have to take something real special to get us to leave here. We wanted to stay there, but shoot, Alabama's Alabama. I mean, you walk around, they got Crimson Tides rolling through the country. I mean, it's a national brand that I feel's got a lot of potential on the men's basketball side. Obviously, football's unbelievable. They've like I said in the press conference, every sports program in the country is trying to emulate what Alabama football's doing. You just look at how much they try to poach assistants out here to try to emulate what they're doing here. So, now football and basketball are different, but at the university, there's no professional sports in the state, and the state's a sports-crazed state. So I love it. We're going to give this state something they want to watch. This was that special job that we said, if it came along, it's going to be hard to pass up. So when it came along, and then really, my wife's a great reader of people, and I think I'm pretty good at it too. And Greg and Jeff sat in our living room Tuesday night. She immediately fell in love with the university through their ambassadors. Greg and Jeff were great. I mean, they were selling us on Alabama. They didn't really have to sell me on Alabama. Alabama's got a pretty big name in my mind. So, you know, part of that is I'm a huge college football fan. I can't get enough college football in the fall, so I watch a lot of Alabama football. But like I said too, man, I'm a basketball junkie. I watched Coach Sanderson's teams back when they had some big time talent. So hopefully we can continue to get some big time talent and get it playing the right way and the way you guys want to watch. And I think we get this. This is going to be a really special place for college basketball as well.
Go in the second row on the left here.
AJ Spur, WVUA 23. Coach, there's a lot of students here that are passionate about the basketball program. What's your message to the student body here at the University of Alabama?
When Coach Hurley and myself first went to Buffalo, we didn't have much, there was hardly anybody in the stands there. By the time we left, the place was rocking. There was track up top. I think 6,200 seats filled the place there. We had 6,700. There were 5, 6 deep, standing room only. Student sections were filling up an hour before the game. Like, we play hard, and we play a style they're going to want to get behind. We play fast. It's going to be exciting. I'm going to get to know the students. Our players would go up into the student section and thank students for coming every game. We're going to be a part of the community too. We're not going to be a separate. We teach our guys, just because you've been given a gift of basketball doesn't mean you're better than the rest of the students. You're just like them. You've just been given God's given you a gift that the rest of them don't have nearly as well at, you know, as good a gift as you have. So we're going to endear ourselves as students. I'm going to get out and meet them. I'm going to make sure that they know they're wanted and needed. That's college athletics. I mean, professional athletics, you can sell a place out. They don't have a student section there. That's what makes college athletics. There's so many people in America that love college athletics, and it's the students that make college athletics college athletics. So we're going to make them feel real valued, because they are valued with the way we want to run our program.
We have time for a couple more questions for Coach before he has to go out. Let's go back to Jeff here on the left.
Nate, 6 years ago, Buffalo gave you a shot as a high school coach to be an assistant coach. Do you see like an opportunity to, if you have an opportunity to add a high school coach to your staff, is that something you would be interested in doing?
Here's what I'm going to tell you. When Coach Hurley gave me the chance, they valued high school coaches a lot more than most Division I coaches did, being the fact that his father's a Hall of Fame high school coach. I'm a little bit the same way. I would definitely, I mean, I've got a lot in common with high school coaches. I'm going to get out and meet as many high school coaches in the state of Alabama. We've got some really good ones. I've already well informed on a few of them. I'm going to make sure that I meet them. I'm going to build a relationship. Now, I'll say this. When I was a high school coach, I never asked for a job based on a player. That's not how I wanted to get in this business. I did not get in. I mean, I built the relationship with the Hurley's brothers based on any player going there, but I never asked, nor did they promise any jobs. That's not how I want to do business. I was offered jobs based on bringing players with me, and I refused to do it that way. So, but I want to build relationships with high school coaches, because that's who I am. Shoot, I've been 6 years in Division I. I was 11 years in high school. So I've got a whole lot more experience on that side of it than I do on this side of it, and I value it at a high level. And I would definitely look at, now, you know, right away this year, I don't know, but if they're good enough, I mean, coaching's coaching. I mean, I think I've proven that here. A lot of coaches have got a lot of Division I experience that haven't been able to do what we did at Buffalo over these last 4 years. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to look at it. I'm going to build some relationships with a lot of these coaches here.
Stand that left side to Kyle.
I'm Kyle Berg with WVTM 13. 7 SEC teams are in the tournament, 4 now in the Sweet 16. Do you feel some pressure to kind of prove to Bama fans that you can kind of turn this around quickly?
Yeah, here's the thing with, you know, one of the deals at Buffalo, there hasn't been 2 teams from the MAC in the NCAA tournament about 20 years or so. We would have gotten an at-large bid had we not won the MAC tournament, so it would have been the first. But you were almost on a yearly basis, you had to win the MAC tournament to get there. Here in the SEC, like, almost half the teams are making the NCAA tournament every year. So, yeah, we want to be there next year. I mean, that's going to be a goal of ours to get there next year. And they were close this year. I mean, they're the next team. So there's not a huge jump. We've got to do a bunch of small things at a high level every single day over the next 8 months going into the season. And I talked to our team a lot. Like we didn't beat Arizona last year on one day in March. We beat them on a random day in October when we worked harder than everybody else in the country. And we're just going to do that day to day to day. But yeah, the SEC is a great league. That's part of the appeal of being in Alabama. And you get a lot of teams in the NCAA tournament from great leagues. So we want to be one of those great teams in a great league.
All the way far left, Maggie.
Coach, could you elaborate on those core values you spoke about earlier to establish the culture of your team?
Yeah, so we met as a staff, and there's a lot of backstory to that, and I probably don't have time to get to it, but we developed a culture playbook based on a guy that came in and spoke to the football team in Buffalo. And so when we talked, like, what do we value the most? Well, we need guys to play hard. To me, that's our whole blue-collar mentality, so that's our max effort. But it goes beyond practice, games. If it just becomes the core of who you are, when you do something, you're going to give it max effort. So we talk about it in academics. Now max effort looks a lot different in academics than it does in the weight room or the practice floor, but we're going to give our all. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing at a high level. We're going to give maximum effort, and if your teammate's not giving it, then you're to hold your teammate accountable. And that's part of our second one's continuous growth. I'll get there, but that's part of the selfless love, which is the third one. We want a culture of accountability. And if I love you and you and me are roommates and we go back and you're going to smoke weed, well, that's not what's best for you. So if I really love you, I'm going to call you out for that. If you're cheating yourself in practice and not going as hard to get yourself better, then as a teammate, if I really love you, I'm going to call you out and I'm going to hold you accountable in a respectful way. But we're going to all hold each other accountable to the standards that we set. So, and then the continuous growth one is we just need to get better every day. So, and that's where, we had guys, I had to have one of my seniors this year at Buffalo had to get a cortisone shot in his shooting wrist because he had an overuse injury. He was in the gym too much. We had to tell him to get out of the gym. But he was one that was bringing his teammates with him every night to get extra shots up because he wanted to get better every day. So we want a culture where guys are continuing to get better, player development. I'm a high school coach at heart. I had 6 a.m. workouts going back at Romulus High School. We got players better. That's who I really am. So we're going to do a ton of player development, and then they're going to do it on their own as well, and we're going to build that culture around here.
Okay, let's go back to Rashad in the back right.
Coach, you may not have the star power of an Avery Johnson. A lot of people down in Alabama, with this being a football state, may not know your resume. How do you get everybody on board and build from what you built at football?
No, great question. I played Division III basketball. I didn't play in the NBA. So here's what I found. I coached in Detroit for 11 years. I had a lot of guys that shoot, a ton of former players hitting me up now. They go fouls. You know what kids want? They want a guy that's invested in them, that's going to make them better. That's all about that. I'm here to serve the kids. It's not about me. It's about them. And that's what I told both those guys I met with this morning. I'm here to serve you. I'm here to make you better. I'm here to help you grow into what you want. You tell me what your goals are, and I'm going to do everything in my power to get you to where you want to get. You want to make the NBA? Then we're going to sit down, we're going to watch video, we're going to break down NBA film on guys that look like you. We're going to cater our player development plan to get you to where you want to go. And then that's my big thing with how I play. If I'm going to spend all this time building you into the player and man that you want to be, when we get on the floor, I'm not going to turn you into a robot. Why am I going to do all this player development stuff and then you're going to be a robot on the floor? No, we play free, fast. They're going to use everything that we work on in the gym. So here, star power, that's great right now at the press conference. It looks great to get a guy with a big name that everybody knows. When we got to get in the trenches and get a little dirty and get to work, I'm just here to serve them. And you know what? When you're there to serve the guys and you get a little sweat going with them and you're working hard every day and you're spending a lot of quality hours with them to get them to where they want to get, they love you in return, they respect you, and that's all I want. So I'm just going to ask them to give me a shot and respect us, and I'm going to work my tail off for them.
We have time for one more question. Let's go back to Jeff here on the left. This will be our last question.
Nate, Aaron said you were going to have a pretty busy schedule today. What does that schedule include? I imagine some recruiting.
Yes, I've got calls. I've already made some calls to parents, recruits. Like we made a call last night. You know, that was a little, we got in here a little late after everything, but got some more meetings set up with the team, got some meetings set up with staff. And then in the evening, I'm going to get to the recruiting calls. I mean, here's the bottom line. Coaches run the program, obviously, and I mean, shoot, football programs here, best example. Coach Saban comes in, they start winning at a high level immediately. But the one thing Coach Saban gets is that players win the games. So, like, this is the one thing players are going to win. Recruiting is the lifeblood of the program. I've got to keep the best players that we currently have here. We need to recruit them, re-recruit them, and that's the way it is in the culture of college basketball right now. You better, and that's where you get guys to play hard by setting your culture. You don't demean them. You build them up while holding them accountable to play hard. So we're going to re-recruit our guys here, and we're going to re-recruit the guys that are signed, and then we still have a few openings, and we're working hard right now on filling those with the best available prospects we can get on this team. But yeah, my day's packed if you looked at my schedule, but after about 6 o'clock tonight, there's it's all open from there, and it's going to be straight recruiting calls for the most part.
All right, thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Yep, thanks to everybody. Appreciate it.